excretion in humans, and we're going to be dealing with some of the questions which you find difficult in answering this topic, these questions. So the first question is saying that, so you see here, excretory system is trying to show you a kidney here, and it's trying to show you bladder and blood vessels here. But here, if you look at it, can you label it correctly? Because at least you need to know how to label this so that when you are asked a question concerning about this, you are able to answer. All right. Identify part 1 to part 9. What are you going to say? Part 1. What are you talking about when they ask you about part 1? Part 1 is a blood vessel. There is a difference between, this is a blood vessel. There is a difference between afferent arterioles and the renal artery. When it is coming from this big blood vessel, the aorta, it connects, when it breaks to the kidney, it becomes renal, because it is bringing the blood to the kidney from the heart, then it's going to become artery. So it becomes renal artery. When it enters the kidney, inside the kidney, for example, this is our kidney. When it has exceeded this point and it has entered here so that it goes to the nephron, then it becomes afferent arteriole. So the difference between renal artery and afferent arteriole, the arterioles are a little bit smaller than the artery. Yes. So number 1 is renal. When it's blue, it means that it's taking blood away. It is deoxygenated. When it is red, it is bringing blood to the organ. So it's more of oxygenated. So number 1 is going to become renal vein. Number 2, yes. Number 2, what is number 2? Number 2 now, look, it's still, remember the blood vessel which it's taking blood to the heart. The blood vessel which takes blood to the heart is called a vein. But because if this is our body, yes, if this is our body, né? So the kidney is around here at the back, né? If it's around here at the back, it means that the heart is here. So it means that the blood vessel which brings blood from all these parts to the heart, yes, it is a vein, is vena cava, but we have the one which comes from top and the one which comes from down or bottom. The one which comes from the top, because it is above, so we call it superior vena cava. Since this one is coming from the kidney and the kidney is below the heart, therefore, this blood vessel number 2 we regard to as inferior vena cava. Then we go to number 3. Number 3, this one just is important for storage of the blood, of the urine. Therefore, we call it bladder. Then we go to number 4. Number 4, it's not this big one, because there is a difference between this big one, number 7, and this, the one which branches, the same way I explained that now this big one is aorta. But the branch of the aorta to the kidney is number 4, which is renal artery. it's a renal artery. Yes. So we call this one a renal artery because it is bringing blood from the heart. So this is a renal artery. And then number 7, it's aorta. Number 5. What is number 5? Number 5 is just this junction. This junction, that's what they're talking about. We call it hilum. Hilum. Yes. So that's how we call this part. So you need to know how to label this. Yes. And then number 6. Number 6, when you look at number 6, they are looking at this shape. This. So it's just a kidney. So you must not fail. This kidney is just a what? A kidney. And then number 8, we said, number 7, we said is aorta. Number 8 are the tubes which bring the urine from the kidney to the bladder. So these tubes are called, so look, there is a difference between this tube and this tube. So this tube is called ureter, while this tube is called urethra. You see, the one which from the bladder to the outside part of the kidney is called urethra, but the one which is here is ureter. So I think we are done with that. So we have identified all the parts from 1 to 9. So it means that if you pause the video, unfortunately, yes, this is live. Let me know if you have a question. Eh? Yes, if you have a question, I'll be able to answer it. So if you pause and then you check, then I think now you can be able to answer all those questions. Number 1, we say that it is the renal vein. Number 2 is inferior vena cava. Number 3, bladder. Number 4 is renal artery. Number 5 is hilum. Number 6, we say that is a kidney. Number 7, we said is aorta. Number 8, we said it is ureter. Number 9, we said it is urethra. So I think we have got the answers for this. They're saying that write the names of the organ that match the function in the following. Stores urine temporarily. So when you talk about storing urine temporarily, it means they are looking for what we call the bladder. So the answer is bladder. Then they are saying here is bladder. Produce urine. What produces urine? So in this case, we are talking about the kidney. Then they are saying the next question, carries urine to external environment. It takes the urine to the external environment. This part number 9, which we say that is urethra. Yes. Then they are saying that carries urine away from the kidney. So they are looking at this tube from here to here because it carries urine away from the kidney. Therefore, the answer becomes ureter, which is number 8. And then you're saying that maintains the composition and the volume of the body fluid. Definitely is the kidney. Yeah, if it was the composition of, yeah, it would have been, if we saw the nephrons, we would have talked about the nephron, but we don't have the nephron here. Therefore, the answer here is gonna become the kidney, which is the number 6. So here, answer here is the kidney. So it maintains the composition and volume of the. So if you're in grade 11 and then you go through these questions, there is no way how you're gonna fail the paper. For what reason you should fail that paper? There is no reason why you should fail it. Anyway, let's continue. And let's go to the next question. They're saying that name the ways in which blood in part number 1 differ from the blood in part number 4. We go back, look, number one, and then number 4. Number 4, remember, is the blood which is coming from the heart with the wastes. You understand? Yes, with the wastes. And then this waste must be purified so that urine can form, and then the blood goes back to other body parts when it's clean. So the major function of the kidney is to purify the blood. If the kidney cannot work properly, it means that the wastes are going to accumulate. And the moment the wastes accumulate, it means that you won't be able to bring about that purification, and then you'll have to die very fast unless you undergo what we call dialysis. Yes. So we go to the next question. So let's go to the next question. They are saying that, so if it's the case, so you can say that number 1, because number 1 is a vein, so it means that it takes what has been purified. It means that it carries filtered blood from the kidney. But this blood, because the oxygen which came with this has been used up here, therefore it carries filtered blood, which is deox. Yes, it's deoxygenated. Yes, this one, filtered blood. And then this one, it means that it has less wastes. Yes, but this one is going to be, this one, number 4, is going to be having to carry blood, which is oxygenated, but with much wastes, so that those wastes can be what? Can be purified. It can be purified. So basically, that is it. Then, if we go to the next question, they are saying that describe 3 functions of the kidney. When you talk about functions of the kidney, here we are talking about removal of nitrogenous wastes. Yeah, removal of nitrogenous wastes. That's number 1. Then number 2, you can talk about osmoregulation. Osmoregulation, meaning that here, when you talk about osmoregulations, we are talking about controlling the internal environment in terms of water. The water amount of the body must be kept constant. Then number 3, you talk about it regulates pH. Yes. Then another one, you can also regulate. Number 4, it regulates salts. So we have specific hormones which are responsible for this. Yes. So we're going to see them later when we're talking about this. Then we have the next question. If you look at that question, before I go to answer that question, can you be able to label that question properly? So A is going to be the collecting duct. C is going to be the distal convoluted tube. And then B is going to be the proximal convoluted tube. See? And then because this one brings blood here, so it's gonna be the afferent arterioles. Well, this one, because it takes what has been reabsorbed back to the blood, is gonna be efferent. Yes, efferent arteriole. So basically, that is it. But this is supposed to be afferent arteriole, efferent arteriole. But now, this question is not asking, look critically. If we go back here and we see it here, Look, this is the renal artery, and then this one is the renal vein. The moment it enters the kidney, it becomes afferent and efferent. So it's the same thing here. What are they asking? Are they asking this before enters the kidney or after entering the kidney? Asking before entering the kidney. So if it's before entering the kidney, therefore this one is gonna be renal artery. And then this becomes the afferent arteriole. And then this one is gonna be renal vein. So this is the efferent arteriole. So that's how we supposed to differentiate between the two. That's how you supposed to differentiate between the two. Yes. So if we go to the next question. So now they're saying that name the functional unit of the kidney represented above. It's a nephron. It's a nephron. Yes. They're saying that identify part A. So we have said it. Part A is the collecting duct. Part B, you say that part B is the proximal convoluted tubule. This is the proximal. Yes, convoluted tubule. And then part C is the distal. Distal convoluted tubule. Yes, then we got to name the blood vessel supplying kidney which would connect at point X and Y. So the blood vessel, so we say that the blood vessel is going to be renal artery and then the renal vein. So X is going to be renal artery because it comes to the glomerulus, and then Y is going to be the renal vein. Then we go to name the blood vessels. So I think this question is also done. Then we go to the next question. This one shows the Malpighian body. Yes, it shows the Malpighian body. So name the network. Name the network C with C. We are looking for this. How do you call that network? This network is called glomerular. It's the glomerular capillaries, or yeah, capillaries. Yes, it's the glomerular capillaries. This is the glomerulus. Yes, so it becomes glomerular capillaries. And then they're saying that describe the structural features of part C that allows ultrafiltration. You guys, if you're using my book for distinction material, you will see that everything is there. Yes. So basically, the walls are thin. If it's walls, these walls are thin, it means that it allows easy diffusion, short diffusion distance. Amina is asking me a question about, oh, you're asking about the grade 12. Okay, Amina, yes, about the skin. Okay, okay, it's fine. Let me just answer you now so that at least you get a chance for that. About the skin, you just need to know how to label those parts, the sweaty gland, sweaty duct, and then the capillaries, sweat pore. Yeah, so basically, and then the sweat. Not these other parts you're supposed to talk about. No, only things which are related to thermoregulation. That's what we need. However much there are others which we don't talk about, the fats, the hair, it's also included. But basically, based on the examination guideline, it's only the things I talked about when I was teaching. That's what you basically need about the skin. Yes, we come back to our question. Explain They're saying that supply the labels for A. We say that A is what is A now? Because now this is linked to the Malpighian body. Therefore, this is not renal artery. No, it is afferent arterial. And then this one is the efferent arterial. And then D, how do you call that D? That check. How does it looks like a bowel. A bowel, you see? So we call it Bowman's. Bowman's capsule is a capsule. I think you know what is a capsule. It must be holding something. Yes, must be holding something. And then we go to the next question is explain the significance of difference in the diameter between structure A and structure B. Structure A and structure B. How the structure difference here is basically is about the diameter. If you look at it here, this is big enough and then this is small. So more blood will come in and then less will be going out, and then this will create a pressure difference. And the moment the pressure difference is created, it means that there will be more. If the pressure difference is created, it means that there will be more which is being filtered here. It will go through here. You will form more of the glomerular filtrate. Why? Because there is too much pressure coming, and then there is too much blood coming, and then you have less blood going out. Therefore, those small particles will go through here, and then they form what you call the glomerular filtrate. Yes, Amina? Yes, it's supposed to be like that. Then they are saying that describe two structural features between C of part C. Where is part C? Part C. This glomerular. How is the it means that I skipped structure. Describe two structural features of part C that allows ultrafiltration. No. I talked about the thin membrane and then one layer thick. So it is easy to allow things to go through. And number two is coiled to increase the surface area for this ultrafiltration to happen. You understand? Yes, it's coiled to increase the surface area. Check how coiled it is. Number two is one layer thick, meaning that it allows substances to go through. Yes, it also, since they're only talking about C, not C and D, then we can leave there. But if D was also included, then you would have talked about the presence of the podocytes. But it is not, the question is not there. So explain the significance in the diameter. So we say that here it creates pressure difference so that ultrafiltration can take place. Yes. Let's go to question number 4. Question number 4, you are having to, the pie chart shows the percentage composition of solute in humans. In urine, okay? So this is in glomerular filtrate, and then this is in the urine. When you talk about in the glomerular filtrate, we are talking about what you form here, and then in the urine, what you have here. So I think that is clear. Let's go to our question and find out. Explain the difference in the glucose concentration between glomerular filtrate and the urine. So if you look at it, glomerular filtrate, glucose, where is glucose is the dark one. In the glomerular filtrate, we have a percentage which is there, while in the urine, it is not there. What causes this? It is because this glucose is highly important. We are not ready to lose anything from that side. Therefore, all of it is supposed to be reabsorbed back to the body. Yes. So the answer here, you can talk about that all glucose was reabsorbed in the proximal convoluted tubule. Yes, and how is, remember that this kidney, you have glucose reabsorption here. You have glucose reabsorption here. And this is happening as a result of active transport, meaning that all is being reabsorbed back to the blood vessels. This, you see these blood vessels which pass here? Yeah, it crosses here to there. But how does it do that? It does that by active transport. If active transport is there, definitely it means that the glucose will not follow the concentration gradient. It will be against, it will be, meaning that here is low concentration of glucose and here is high concentration of glucose. Therefore, glucose will be pumped into the blood vessels by active transport. So if you come back here and look at the question, we are saying that explain the difference in the glucose concentration. Yes, explain the difference in the glucose concentration between glomerular filtrate and the urine. Here there is glucose and here there is no glucose. Therefore, glucose is reabsorbed. All of it is reabsorbed back through the proximal convoluted tubule by active transport. So basically, that is the answer is supposed to be written there. If then they're saying that urea concentration in the urine is much higher than the glomerulus. If you look at here, we come back here and you look at urea. Urea is here, so it is this. It's too much in the urine than in this. So what happens there? So if that is the case, so what causes that to happen? It means that urea is not reabsorbed. First of all, it's not reabsorbed back. No. If it's not reabsorbed, it means that it's not important in our body. So if you reduce the concentration of sodium, because now if you look at sodium here is too much, well here. So what made urea to be big is because sodium, for example here, let me just give an example. If this is urea, and it is 20%, just give you an example. And then this one is 60%. And then this is okay, others, okay, sharp. And then this is glucose, maybe it is 30%. So what happens here is, what made urea to be big here is sodium chloride is being reabsorbed back, meaning that is changing from 60 maybe to 10%. You see? And then this one, which was 30, all of it was reabsorbed back. It went from 30 to 0. You see? And then these other ones, there are which are important, are reabsorbed back. So it ended up forming urea, which was 20%. If you compare it to these other 10 and other small percentages, you see that now urea has the biggest percentage. Why? Because it is not reabsorbed back. It is not important at all. Therefore, there is no reabsorption which takes place. So sodium hydroxide is reabsorbed, water is reabsorbed, chlorides are reabsorbed. Therefore, it makes urine much more concentrated with urea than any other substance. Hence, the percentage of urea here after urine is formed is higher than the percentage of urea when urine is not yet formed. So the 5 marks, to get those 5 marks, you can talk about that the other substances which are here and are reabsorbed. Glucose is reabsorbed, water is reabsorbed, sodium chloride is reabsorbed, urea is not reabsorbed, making the concentration to be higher in the urine. That's how you can account for those 5 marks. What about this now? Let's go to this question. A hormone that is secreted by the cortex of the adrenal gland, which regulates the concentration of sodium and potassium in the blood. The hormone, remember guys, that the kidney has a gland on top, which you call the adrenal gland. This gland, yes, it has the medulla part and the cortex part. So when you look at it, it produces 2 hormones. The first hormone is aldosterone. The second hormone is the adrenal gland. So, sorry, not adrenal gland, adrenaline, not adrenal gland, adrenaline and aldosterone. So aldosterone is responsible for salt, while adrenaline is responsible for emergence. So the question is asking which hormone is going to regulate salts. So the answer here is going to become this. So even if you don't know this answer is very simple. Why? The kidney only produces two hormones, adrenaline and aldosterone, and there is no adrenaline here. So the answer is just a simple answer. Then you go to the next question. Glucose concentration of dialysis fluid is the same as the blood. They are saying that higher than that of blood, and then they're saying that lower than that of blood, and then always zero. What do you mean by saying that it can't be zero, it can't be lower than blood, and it can't be higher than blood? Because if it is higher than the blood, then the function of dialysis, it means that dialysis is adding glucose there. And then if it's lower than blood, it means that dialysis is taking away glucose. So it cannot be higher than or lower than or zero. So the answer is it must be the same as what? As blood. The same way glucose which has come must be the same amount of glucose which is supposed to be taken back. Then you have this question, they're saying that the control of the control of water content and salt balance in the body and the fluid. How do you call that? Here we are talking about salt. Anyway, we know salt goes together with water. The moment the salt concentration, if you have two sides, you have more salts here, and then you have water here, then automatically water is going to be moving in that direction by osmosis. So there must be concentration gradient. So the movement of these water molecules from a region of low concentration to the region of high concentration is called osmosis. So the answer here becomes osmo. Yes, you are controlling. So regulating, it becomes regulation. Regulation. So it becomes osmoregulation. Refer to the process of keeping the internal environment constant. How do we call that? Homeostasis. Yes. The hormone that reduces water amount in the body is ADH. 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 Let me write it here. When you say is supposed to be diuretic hormone. Yes, anti-diuretic hormone. That's how it's supposed to be written. Yes, this is RNA, RE. This is T. Yes, anti-diuretic hormone. My handwriting is ugly. All right. Then they're saying that hormone that is produced by adrenal cortex to promote sodium chloride. Or we talked about it, and we say that this is the aldosterone. Aldosterone. Yes, so we call it aldosterone. So they are saying that the blood vessel which carries oxygenated blood rich in metabolic wastes to the kidney. So the moment you say to the kidney, so it's going to become what? The moment you say that to the kidney, therefore it's going to become artery. And then the kidney is renal. So it's going to become renal artery. Yes, so that's how the blood vessel which is responsible for that. So here you have a question about independent variable and the dependent variable. When it comes to dependent variable and the dependent variable, what are you supposed to talk about here? A healthy man with a normal kidney function is used to follow is in the following practical investigation. The amount of urine is after 30 minutes and in an hour. Okay, measure the collecting duct. The measure. I'm just reading. You must also read. Average temperature in the point. He then asked to drink 1 liter of water, and then in his urine is again collected at 30 minutes interval. Then, okay, shows the results. Okay, meaning that we need to look at how do we control the amount of water in this human if there is excess of water. So now, number one, let's see, identify the independent variable. Identify the dependent variable. The dependent variable is going to be the production of urine. Yes, because time can't be independent. So can't be dependent. Time cannot depend on anything. We depend on time. Therefore, this one is gonna be independent, and then this one is gonna be dependent. Yes. So as I told you, is ID, independent variable, dependent variable. If we are to plot, it's gonna be XY, ID, XY, meaning that on x-axis, on the y-axis. Simple. Hypothesis was formulated as drinking water increases. Yes. When this person was normal before drinking water, yes, what happens? It was producing 50 mils of urine. But after drinking water, yes, so it started to increase. It increased, and then on the 90th minute, it starts to decrease. It decreased. So, from 60 to 90, it started to decrease. So the question is saying, would you say the investigation proves the hypothesis accepted or rejected? In this case, we can say that the hypothesis is accepted. Motivate your answer, because as the person has just drank this water, yes, the urine production increased, check, until the 60th minute. After that, it started to decrease. You see? So that's how you're supposed to state this hypothesis. Then you go to what was the most urine produced in an hour or half an hour in one half hour period. Okay, meaning that 1.5 hour. Okay, sharp. The most urine is here, which is 480 mils. 480 mils. Yes, or cubic centimeters. They're saying that how long did it take for the urine to go back to normal? Normal was 50, it was 50. So it means that it took 120. It means that it took 120 minutes. Name the process by which water balance in the body is maintained. How do you call that process where you maintain water balance in the body? So water balance is, whenever you talk about water balance, then it becomes osmoregulation. So basically, that's what you are supposed to talk about. Yes, guys, we go to the next question. More questions about this. So we are trying to answer questions so that you guys, you don't have any stories when it comes to this excretion. So here, these are the excreted product glands, and then waste, origin, and then product. You have carbon dioxide and water. Where is its origin? It's lungs here. And then the organ, yeah. Where is it coming from? This is respiration. Respiration. Basically, is cellular respiration. Yeah. Then you have to sweat. What is happening in the sweat? You have urea. That's why you smell. Urea makes it to smell. And mineral salts. That's why if mineral salts. That's why if you test the sweat, you'll find it is salty. And then excreted product. Yeah, it is the product definitely comes as a sweat. You'll study this in grade 12 more. Then you have urea. Still again, urea can be obtained in the liver. Yes, in the liver, and then it can be urea or bile pigment. It can be bile pigment. Yes, and then here in number 6 is you have you have origin. Where do we find urea? Where is urea coming from? Urea actually is a product of protein as a result of deamination. Remember, proteins, let me show you here. Proteins have what we call amino acids. Yes. So if it is amino acids, so when you deamino aminate now. Yes, so it becomes, you are removing the amino group. You are removing this amino group. D means you minus. Yes, so you are removing this amino group, therefore it becomes deaminated. Deaminated. So when you come back here, so it's basically is as a result of deamination. Deamination, meaning that you are removing the amino group, and then instead of becoming a protein anymore, it reduces that proteinase. Yes, and then turns from proteins, amino acids into urea. And then where do we get this? We can get this in the feces. Yes, you can get it in the feces. Yes, and then you have colon. What's happening on colon? What's happening on the colon? In the colon, you have what do you get on the colon, or which product, waste product? Definitely is going to be the same as that of the liver, which is biopigment and sometimes excess salts. Yes, and then you have urea, you have this, and then you have water. So definitely, the moment you talk about urea, we are talking about also mineral salts because they go together. You saw even that diagram. And then what do that is the kidney. So we saw it, how it was doing it. And then origin is due to consumption, excess consumption of food, and even if sometimes not excess, yes, food and water. That's where you obtain this, because this is as a waste product. Therefore, it means that too much water, it becomes now useless. And then food you are eating, we have to get products from there. So basically, that's how you can answer those questions. If you come back again to such second part, we are about to finish, as we are done with the first part. So what is A? A is how do we call this? This is the, so we can bring these questions the different version. So this is the bladder. Bladder, that's where urine is being stored from. And then 2, what is number 2? Is it comes from here and then goes down to the bladder. Therefore, it is ureter. We talked about it. And then now this one, the blood is taking blood away. So it is inferior vena cava, while this one is the aorta. And then this one is the kidney. So basically, that's it. Then if we come back here, the next question, it looks like the first one, but it might not be exactly the same. Guys, let me know if you have a question so that I can answer that question. They're saying that, what are they saying? Label A, B, G, I. A, let's look at A. Where is A? A, yeah. So what is A? It brings blood. If it's bringing blood, let me see. Yeah, because if you look at it, it says that it brings blood. Therefore, it is a renal artery. Then B becomes renal vein because it takes blood. You see? And then they're saying G, what is G? G is the bladder. And then I is the adrenal gland. adrenal gland. Yes, this is the gland we talked about, that it produces the it produces the what? It produces uh, the, the it produces so we say that it produces the what? The adrenaline and aldosterone. Yeah, it produces these two hormones, and we saw the functions of those hormones, that this is for emergency, while this one is for reducing the amount of salt in the body. Then they're saying that identify the regions of the kidney marked C and D. C, where is C now? C. How do you call this region? C. And how do you call this region? D. So region C is called the cortex. Cortex. While region D is called the medulla. Yes. So this is the cortex. This is the medulla. Yes. Identify regions. Okay. See, and we're done. Name one function of each of the following. Okay. What is it? E. Let's go to E. What is E? Let me rub off here so that, yeah. Where is E? What is the function of E? So basically, the outer part of the kidney is definitely is for protection. It protects the internal parts of the kidney. Then you're saying that F transports urine from the kidney to the bladder for temporary storage. Yes. And then you have H. This one transports or carries urine from the bladder to the external environment, meaning that when you're going to pee or going to urinate, that's where urine is passing. Then we go to the next question. They're saying that write the name. Name 3 ways in which carbon dioxide is transported in the blood. Oh, how is carbon dioxide transported? Carbon dioxide is transported into 3 ways. Through bicarbonate. I'm going to explain. Through carbohemoglobin. Yes. So it is it's linked to hemoglobin, it's carbohemoglobin. And then you can also talk about it can be transported in form of a solution. Yes. In the plasma. It can be dissolved. Yes. Look, when carbon dioxide, remember, when carbon dioxide reacts with water, it forms, okay, let me just do it. It forms carbonic acid. Why am I writing carbonic acid? It forms carbonic acid. Yeah, like that. This is just a little bit of soluble, so it means that it is being transported. But sometimes, because this is not that as stable, is a weak acid, therefore, sometimes it breaks, it ionizes to form hydrogen ions and that. And then, depending on how much ionization occurs, so it's gonna form hydrogen ion plus hydrogen carbonate. Yes, so the hydrogen carbonate, that's why we say that bicarbonate, it can be transported like this. And then this can also be joining there. Yes, and then it is being transported in that regard. So it can be transported as a solution, can dissolve. It can be transported as carbohemoglobin. It can be transported as bicarbonates, ions. So you see now they are transporting them like this. So the next question is, I think this one needs to be rubbed off. Okay, they're saying that write the name and the letter of the vessels that contain relatively high concentration of nitrogenous wastes. So when you come here, we are looking at the one which brings blood. So in this case, it's gonna be this, which is A and is renal artery. And then they're saying that the part that glomerular filtrate where it occurs, it occurs in the medulla, the dark part of it, the dark part of the kidney. That's where filtration occurs. Yes, that's the dark part of the kidney. Describe the functions of the kidney. They're not asking you to describe the functioning of the kidney. They're asking you to describe the functions of kidney. So in this case, as we talked about, can talk about excretion, can talk about osmoregulation, we can talk about pH, regulating pH. You can talk about salt concentration, regulation of salt. Yeah, so it has many functions you can talk about here. Yes. So that's another question. Another question which looks to be the same is this. So they're saying that what is part A? I think now we can understand, now we can answer what is part A, what is part E, and what is part F. What is part F? I think if I look at it like that, I think you can answer it. Anyway, part A is renal capsule. We answered it at the beginning. Part E is, how do you call that? This space, this thing is a pelvis. It's a pelvis. Yes. And then part F. What is part F? Yeah, part F. This is where the collecting duct. If you look at the nephron, now you see this part is where this dark part is. And then this part, the collecting duct, that's where you find it here. So how do we call that part? We call it the renal calyx, or the calyx, renal calyx. Yes, that's how we call it part F. So they're saying that state the letter and the name, state the letter and the name of the blood vessel that contains the highest percentage of wastes. So we have been talking about this, we have been discussing about this. So which one has the highest percentage of wastes? Yes. So in this case, we are looking at the artery, which brings blood. Which brings what? Which brings blood to the kidney so that it can be purified. So it is a renal artery. So you see that this one takes blood, or this one brings blood. So in this case, the number is not there, but this is the point. You understand? It's the point. And then this one takes blood, meaning that it has been purified. Then they're saying that why is the region B darker in color than C in actual specimen? Region D. What is the region D? Why is region B? Let me go back to the question. Why is region B darker in color than C in actual specimen? C, where is C? Yeah, this region, that's where you find this nephrons, meaning that it's the not the nephron. That's where you find the Malpighian body. Let me show you. what I talked about. Yeah, this is where you find in that region. This is where you find this Malpighian body. Yes, so it makes it to be darker because of the high density of blood vessels. And then now this other one, that's where you find this Malpighian body. And then the other ones, that's where you find C. That's where you find this C. Collecting ducts, so it's not having too much blood vessels, therefore it makes to be a little bit lighter. State the role of the fat surrounding the kidney. That is basically for protection. In most cases, protection, and sometimes when you undergo starvation, yes, these fats can be helpful in providing the energy to these organs so that the organs can continue functioning so that you don't die. Because once the organs collapse, then automatically there will be a near death. Yes. So protection to prevent this perfection and with the ribs and stuff. And then number two, also giving the organ the food in the period of starvation. Yes. Then you have explain the role of fats. So we are done with that. In which labeled odds do each of the following occur? So based on this, where do we find number one, Malpighian body? So we're going to find Malpighian body in B. So we're going to find it there. And then what's the next one? Loop of Henry. Loop of Henry, don't forget, is this part. I've showed you this part. It has the descending and then the ascending. So all this part is the what called the loop of Henry. So you find the loop of Henry in C. Yes. And then ducts of the Berlin. This is the collecting duct. Sometimes you call it the collecting duct. So the collecting duct, you'll find it in the H. Yes. So basically, that's what we find in that area. So basically, this is the nephron is trying to show you exactly what happens. And then now we go to the next question. Explain the function. Okay. Explain why urine in G is sometimes very concentrated. Where is G? Why urine in the ureter is more? This is why is it more concentrated in sometimes? So here, what you need to talk about, why is it more concentrated is because when this urine, this one, when it is here, sometimes it reabsorbs. Wait, how many marks are these? It's 5 marks. So it definitely, then you're going to talk about the antidiuretic hormone being secreted if the body requires more water. So antidiuretic hormone is going to be secreted as a result of the hypothalamus being stimulated and causing the hypophysis or the pituitary gland to secrete more ADH. More ADH will bring about more reabsorption in here and then in the proximal, in the distal convoluted tubule and the collecting duct. So since the collecting duct is going to be becoming more permeable, more water is going to be reabsorbed, making the urine here to be more concentrated, meaning that more water is being reabsorbed back to the body. Explain the function of the kidney that will affect if part G is blocked by large kidney stones. So what will happen there? Definitely it will stop functioning. It will prevent the flow of the urine, and then it will be the bladder will be blocked as a result of accumulation of these salts in the kidney, and then this can lead to the kidney failure. Yes, meaning that the water won't be regulated. You won't have salts being regulated. All the things, the pH won't be regulated. So meaning that the kidney will fail completely. So it's another question which looks like the question you have just answered. Part A, what is part A? So we saw it, the renal capsule. What is part G? Part G. So we say that it is the renal calyx. Calyx. So we saw it is a renal calyx. And then we say that state the letter and the name of the blood vessel that contains the highest percentage of wastes. Highest percentage of wastes. When you look at it, highest percentage of waste, they're saying that name, where is it? Name the letter and the name of the blood vessel. So we have said this one as waste is as a result of the blood vessel which brings blood. It's E. So the answer is E, and then the part is called renal artery. Yes. And then they're saying that explain why urine in H is sometimes very concentrated. So is exactly H is exactly what we explained here above. Yes, but we're just swapping the parts, and then we see that if you are still on track. Then lastly, I'm going to leave this one as your homework, this one. Yes, and then I'm going to do this. Let me check. Let me do this. Then I will leave the rest for you. Go download the paper, and then you can do it as your homework. Anyway, what is A? A is the blood vessel which brings blood. So it is afferent arteriole. Yes. And then what is B is Bowman's capsule. Yeah. What is C is collecting duct. This is the coiled one, is proximal convoluted tubule. And then this is the distal convoluted tubule, and then this is the descending loop of Henry, ascending loop of Henry. So basically, all of it is the Malpighian body. Is a Malpighian body. Sorry, it's the Malpighian body. So guys, don't forget to subscribe, like, and also share, so that even others can benefit. So identify part A. What is part A? Let me see what is part A. Part A, where's part A? Yeah. So we say that part A is, we have answered that. That part A is blood vessel which brings blood to the Bowman's capsule or the glomerulus. So it is afferent arteriole. So B is Bowman's capsule. Explained it. And then C is collecting duct. And then, yeah, identify the process that happens in 1, 2, 3. 1, where's 1? 1. Yeah, this is ultrafiltration. Yes. And then 2 is, this is the reabsorption. Is selective reabsorption. Not everything is being reabsorbed, but it's a reabsorption. And then 3 is excretion or secretion. It can be secretion or excretion from the, that's why you find that urea increases in the amount because of this, what happens in there. So 3 is secretion or excretion. Explain why there are large number of mitochondria in tubes region 2. So 2 is because of the active transport which is taking place there. So respiration must take place so that enough energy is produced so that active transport can take place there when you are doing the reabsorption of glucose. They are saying that explain the significance of the difference in the diameter between vessel A and B and D. Vessel A and D. Vessel A and D. So basically here, vessel A, where is vessel M? So what is the significance? Explain the role in the part C that ensuring the concentration is, okay. Explain the significance of difference in diameter. So we explain that, we say that this increases the pressure which builds here, because this is big and then the other one is small. So it increases the pressure which is being built. Check, big and small. So the pressure here, it helps in the ultrafiltration. Then they are saying that explain the role of C. Where is C now? Role of C in ensuring that the concentrated urine is excreted when there is shortage of water. So this one, basically, it helps in reabsorption of water, further reabsorption of water. Yeah, if the body still requires what? Requires that water. Yes, and then that you have, since the 6 marks, then you talk about the ADH, hypothalamus, the same way I explained it above here. ADH, hypothalamus is stimulated, and then it triggers the hypophysis or pituitary gland to secrete more ADH. The ADH will make the walls of the collecting duct become more permeable, and now more water is being reabsorbed back to the body. I think I'm going to stop here. Download this from Thunder Educ website, www.thundereduc. This, so you'll be able to get that paper, and then please try to practice those questions. And then if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be able to try maybe to make another video, other videos which can help you to solve those problems. I'll say thank you very much for joining me. Until next time.